on 17th and Pennsylvania Avenue. It is right before the pedestrian plaza begins, which reopened. What is that? What is that?
Sounds like fire.
Now, Jose, the shooting happened on 17th and Pennsylvania Avenue. It is right before the pedestrian plaza begins, which reopened. What is that? What is that?
Sounds like fire.
Now, Jose, the shooting happened on 17th and Pennsylvania Avenue. It is right before the pedestrian plaza begins, which reopened.
All right. We're here, everybody. How you doing, folks? Today is a beautiful day. It's a Thursday. It is May the 28th. We just had Memorial Day weekend. I know Michael Volpe enjoyed his Memorial Day weekend thoroughly, and we have him here as a guest to tell us a lot about what's been going on with the WhatTheHales ecosystem of lies. They're peddling lies about Michael Volpe, and he doesn't like it. Well, he's here. michaelvolpe.substack.com. If you have not subscribed already, please subscribe to michaelvolpe.substack.com. And Michael, how are you today?
I'm good. So last week, TUG was on Mr. Coop, and I was alerted by, I don't know, contact someone, one of my readers, and I checked it out. And this time, TUG wasn't commenting on anything that I did related to the Hales case. It was one of my other stories. However, after watching TUG on Mr. Coop, I started to notice a pattern with TUG and Megan. So do you want to get up the video? I don't remember. We're only going to play the part where he's talking about me. I can't remember what the title was.
I'll start the video, and then you tell me when to stop it, and we can give some commentary on the video for educational, documentary, scientific, and artistic purposes on YouTube and other channels. And then we'll start showing some of the primary documents, because, Michael, as you know, this is a journalistic endeavor that we're in right here.
Right.
And did you like the intro video that we had? What do you think of that intro video? No, you didn't like it?
You could do better, but let's get going. Let's get going with
being a PDF file. Okay.
Snap.
Yeah. So I'm covering that for you here. But his newest grift, he's like, oh, they may put me in jail because of something too. But he shows a court document. You can see the court held a contempt hearing days later, holding the mother in contempt because of one paragraph of a GAL report was released. By him, by the way, a report that was supposed to be confidential. Then when you go down here later on, he talks about how this person, there's already been a mother arrested, and he may get arrested too, because essentially he recorded a two-party he recorded a conversation in Illinois. He's accusing some person. Again, I won't take his word on anything, but he's accusing somebody of being
so what's going on, Mike? Tell us.
All right. So he's talking about a case out of Illinois. Can you get up the article, another suspected child molester gets custody? Can you get rid of this and get the article up?
I can do that. So, okay, let's get that up. Which one is that?
No, that's not it.
Hold on. It's the another. That's the one with the interview, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna make this one. Is this the one you want, Michael?
Yeah. All right, not that interview, but if you scroll down,
play
that interview, play that video. Yeah, I was looking for David Suarez.
May I ask who's calling?
Yeah, my name is Michael Volpe. I'm an investigative journalist. I'm close to finishing an article about your custody case. Do you have a minute?
No, I'm not going to speak on that.
Yeah?
I'm sorry?
Were you accused of watching porn with your kids in the house?
I don't think you're an investigative journalist. I'm not sure.
I think I am. I think I am.
Okay.
Were you accused of watching porn with the kids in the house?
I don't know. You'll have to check that out for yourself, I think.
Yeah, it's in a Guardian ad litem report. I think you acknowledged it.
Ooh.
Okay, then take the Guardian ad litem report, and
All right.
there's your.
Are you molesting your daughter?
Have a good day, sir.
All right. So that is David Suarez, who acknowledged multiple times. Hold on, stop right there. Multiple times that he did watch porn while caring for his kids, is accused of molesting one of them. Now we're going to go over the allegations. Now, if you scroll down, what I first showed is custody orders and how they evolved, and they started at 50-50. And so that's a custody order, I think, from 2024. That's David and Bridget. That is before any of the allegations of child molestation came out. So they started 50-50. After the allegations come out, she initially goes to every other weekend. So even though David is accused of molesting the kids, she goes to every other weekend. And then soon after that, if you can get that up, she's on supervised visits as he is being accused of child molestation. So the reason that happened is because there's a guardian ad litem. Her name is Narcisse Kokar. Stop right there. So here's an email. This is basically that's just giving her credentials. She started accusing the mom of having delusional disorder, which is something only a psychiatrist could diagnose properly, and she's actually a lawyer. And she ran interference, made sure that David was never properly investigated for any of the child molestation. She would poison the well with the cops, with CPS, with others. And then in February of this year, they held their custody trial, and they, in effect, I think very little changed in terms of the custody arrangement between what was temporary with the supervised visits and the permanent. But the evidence presented at this custody trial that David Suarez was molesting his kids includes testimony from the pediatrician who testified to the kids' behavior changing suddenly, to a disclosure from one of the kids, and redness in the private area. A therapist also testified that the child disclosed to them. And now if you can scroll down, there's going to be a short video with Bridget's dad, Tim Burgess. Now he's going to describe disclosure from his granddaughter to him. Here we go. All right. And she even disclosed your granddaughter, that is, to you.
She absolutely did. And, she went into, she would not allow anybody to change her diapers. And she was always happy-go-lucky, never had any problems. Well, she would just scream and go into almost a trance. And it was almost like night terrors, but it was during the day. And she kept saying, when I tried to change her diaper, she would say, "No more owies, Daddy, no more owies. Stop, it hurts." And she would continue. She would always.
Similar to what the doctor was describing. That
absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And the girl made a similar statement about her father to the doctor. All right. So my article comes out, and that includes, if you can scroll up, can you scroll back up a little bit more? Right. Wait, go back, go down. Not, you're going too fast. Scroll down. Right there. So this is a paragraph of the Guardian ad litem report where he acknowledges to watching pornography. Now, he also testified to it during the trial, and I probably should have just used the testimony. I didn't realize it, but in Illinois, I didn't do anything illegal to get the Guardian ad litem report, and I did not get it from Bridget. nor from her dad. But guardian ad litem reports are supposed to be sealed in Illinois. So what that shows is that he admits to the guardian ad litem that he watched porn. Now, can you get rid of that and get up Bridget Suarez goes to jail, the next article?
Yes, sure.
Within days of my article coming out, David's lawyers file a motion to hold her in civil contempt. And that motion is heard almost in real time, days after the motion is filed, before Bridget has a chance to respond in writing. The judge, Carla Wheeler, holds an emergency hearing. And I didn't know how many days at the time she was sentenced her to, but as you can see, my name is all over the motion. And she sentenced her to 3 days, which included part of Mother's Day. And so she spent 3 days in jail because Judge Wheeler, I wasn't in the hearing, so I don't know exactly what was said, but obviously Judge Wheeler blamed Bridget for the leak of the guardian ad litem report. And now get up the next article, the Central Illinois Pedophile Protection Program. All right, so
let me ask you before you get into that, Mike. She was in jail, and she had a dietary problem while she was in jail, right? It wasn't very, very tough for her while she was in jail,
right? Because they jailed her basically in real time. All the food they had was apples because the jail didn't even have time to prepare. And then the craziest part was, so she is in jail starting Thursday evening, I think, through that Sunday evening, whatever Mother's Day is Sunday. And then commissary would have been ready on Tuesday. So by the time she got out, she couldn't even get commissary for those 3 days. As that is ongoing, David Suarez went to the Peru, Illinois Police Department, about 90 miles, I want to say south of me, roughly. And because you heard the recording, that recording became the subject of a complaint to an officer, Joseph Sienta, claiming that I'm eavesdropping. That's a legal term. Now, and as you can see, eavesdropping. Now, that even though that has my name on it, they did not confirm that the eavesdropping is against me. However, it would be an extraordinary coincidence if that cop was investigating someone else for eavesdropping at the same time he called me 4 times. And I believe it was either March or May 8th or 9th that he called me. So that along with the calls is why I believe that they may arrest me for eavesdropping. And so that's the details of the story. Now I'll get back and let's listen more to how TUG describes it.
Oh, okay.
A file, but he's interfering in a case. And he is leaking fucking confidential information in it. Oh, it's so nuts. He also, here, let me go back to the thing. I mean, he tells you in the article that this person, they got arrested because of what he did. Oh, my Lord.
Now, so you say the woman got arrested. Yeah, and he thinks so the woman is the one that leaked the confidential stuff.
Right, pause it.
Yeah, it gave it to him is what it is. So
pause it. Bridget did not give it to me. All right, they don't care about facts like that. Bridget didn't give me the report. I'm sure the judge blamed it on her, regardless of her involvement. Now, if Bridget gave it to someone who gave it to me in the judge's mind, it's the same thing. I'm not going to say whether that happened or not, but Bridget didn't give it to me. They don't have a clue what happened. All right. And they're just spouting nonsense, having read almost nothing. Go ahead.
Well, that's par for the course for these people. Let's hit play.
They do hit pieces for hire. You pay them a few $100 and they do that. That is their business model. That's why when they ask for $300, it's kind of like with this one, when he's doing that.
What I described to you, did that sound like a hit piece for hire?
It sounded like you were trying to expose a terrible situation with someone who was credibly accused, an actually admitted watcher of pornography with children in the next room, and
Does
a
it
credibly
sound like
accused
he's innocent of
pedophile.
the? Does it sound like he's innocent of the child molestation? When I asked him and he wants to hang up, does that sound like he's
It
innocent?
sounds like a guy like that is someone that needs to be, told from the rooftops. We have registries for a reason in this country, and people like that's names should be emblazoned so that nobody gets harmed.
Right. Am I a hit piece for hire? Or am I trying to expose?
I think you're doing a public service, Michael. Michael,
Right.
you're doing a public service. You're saving the children.
Let's go. Keep playing.
That call that I was showing, you could see it's a fundraiser. He's saying, well, I could be indicted any day, but also help me fight this. For every $400 I raise, I'll do an article.
Oh my God. See, this is now didn't they release they're all known for releasing information they shouldn't be releasing.
I mean, he blew this woman's case up, it sounds like.
All right, pause it.
Lost her the ability to have
pause it. Rich, pause it.
Paused.
He blew this woman's case up, it sounds like. That's what he said. Did I not tell you that she went from 50-50 to every other weekend to supervised visits to having a custody trial? Now get the docket up. Get the docket up.
The docket that you want. Let's take this down.
Mm-hmm.
And then we want to add, this is the last one. We'll put that docket from the page from, here we go. Record search. Hold on. Here we go. Share this tab. And that's our docket.
Right, if you can get to
go
down to one. It's January, I think, 28th. Go down to January 28th. Wait. Go right there, 126. All remaining issues held, petitioner, that is the custody trial happened that day. All right. Now go all the way to the top. All right. He blew her case up. She's appealing the case. Now go back to my original article. Another suspected child molester gets custody.
Okay. Here it is.
What's the date that I wrote it?
May 1st, 2026.
If they held a custody trial on January 26th and she was given supervised visits as a result of that custody trial, how could I blow her case if I wrote an article on May 1st?
Doesn't make any sense, Michael.
Right. Let's keep playing Tug and Mr. Coop.
Let's go back here and pull this off. And then we'll play these idiots.
No matter. This just happened. This is a brand new article that's on his stuff.
All right, now pause it.
So you can see it.
All right. So this is that article, the Illinois Pedophile Protection Program. Do you see where he starts? It says, after that publication. Okay? So you guys see that right there? He doesn't go any further in the article. He only puts that part of the article up. So now get that article back. The Illinois Pedophile Protection Program.
Okay, let's get.
All right, so scroll a little bit.
You want the Pedophile Protection Program article? That's this.
Yeah.
Share this tab, and here we are.
All right. Having already jailed one person, the Central Illinois Pedophile Protection Program has set its sights on me, ready to trump up new charges to protect the suspected child molester. On May 1st, 2026, I published an article entitled "Another Suspected Child Molester Gets Custody in Illinois." After that publication, the court has sealed most of the records. A protective mother has gone to jail, and I may soon be indicted. In that article, I presented evidence that David Suarez admitted to watching porn. The child disclosed sexual abuse to multiple mandated reporters, and a pediatrician testified about redness in the private parts consistent with forced penetration, and that is screenshot of the pediatrician's testimony to that particular portion. Scroll down a little bit more.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Despite that evidence, David was granted sole custody while his ex-wife, Richard Suarez, got a few hours of supervised visits weekly. days after the article's publication. That's where he starts. You missed the rest. Now watch how he describes it without giving the context of the beginning of the article.
The publication, court seals most records, protective mother has gone to jail. Yeah, that's because of him.
So since he's sharing it, she gave it to him. Well, he's just as responsible as she is.
No, the problem was he did an interview with the other person and he did not disclose. Now, these guys, you know, he's right in a part of what he's saying, in that if he were legit media, he can indeed. There's no expectation of privacy. You know, you can record a call. If you talk to media, other problem. But here's the thing: how did he represent himself? You know, because he's representing himself.
Pause it. How did I represent myself? Did you guys hear me? What did I say? Rich, what did I tell David Suarez?
You said, I'm an investigative reporter. My name's Michael Volpe.
Correct. He doesn't seem to know, does he?
Look, the whole thing with the Illinois law, Michael.
No, forget the Illinois law. Does Tug know what I said to David Suarez?
No, he didn't read any articles. He didn't listen to any of the audio.
Why is Tug commenting on something without even bothering to listen to the interview that's at the centerpiece of the police investigation? Neither of these guys listened to that interview.
That's what these people do.
Right.
That's what they do. That's what they do. They initiate false accusations and allegations, and then when you respond to truth, they twist and manipulate to their narrative. It's a pattern. So Lisa Lee said perfectly.
Let's keep playing, Todd.
I got tagged into an email a while back, for example. I don't know if you remember this, but
which one?
Yeah, it was when Volpe, though. He pretended to be another lawyer, and he got Randy to write him back as a lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. I didn't know about that one.
That never happened. I never pretended to be another lawyer.
They're full of
it. The first time I reached out to Randy Shockett, I said I was an investigative journalist. I never sent an email as a lawyer. I called his office and I said, I'm having trouble getting a hold of him. And whoever answered the phone said, well, you can schedule a time with me. And I did. And she presumed I was a lawyer. And I didn't correct her, but I never falsely claimed I was a lawyer. This is another lie by them. Let's keep going. Keep playing.
Oh, yeah. There's a while back, man. This is like back in the, those earlier days before everybody knew who these people were.
So he's pretty much known for being a shady shit.
No, he's a shady fucker. All these people are, man. And he's telling you in his article, if you read between the lines in this one, that, again, he's accusing this person of being a PDF. I know nothing on the case.
Pause it. He knows nothing on the case. What's the evidence that the guy is a pedophile?
What's the evidence? Pretty strong. His admission that he was watching porn in the next room. The question was it child porn or not? And he had to differentiate whether it was child porn or not. And then there's testimony by the girl to a mandated reporter, the little girl, and to her grandfather and to others, the Guardian Lighter report. There's physical evidence. There's testimonial evidence. There's plenty of evidence.
Does it sound like he knows what the evidence is?
Does it sound like he cares what the evidence is?
Who's shady, Tug? You don't care what the evidence is. Tug doesn't give two craps that this little girl is being forced to live with a pedophile. He uses an opportunity to go after me. He's protecting a pedophile. That's all this guy is doing right now. Keep playing it. But wait, one other thing. Get this down. Get up the article about the Hales talking points.
Oh, let's get that up. Okay, let's take this down, and then we'll add this. This is a classic article that Michael Volpe.
Right. When you first talked to Megan, what was one thing she said? Didn't she say something like, "Before you comment on the case, you should"?
Oh, I could put that up. I have the verbatim email. I'll show it to you.
All right.
Hold on one second. Let's put that up because that's a very important piece of evidence. Right? We can put up. Yeah. Let's see. We want is this. Share screen, and I will share this window. which is right here. And, oops, excuse me. There we go. All right, that's for later. It's right here. This is right here, an email. I'll read this out loud. This is actually very important because I confronted Umbrella and Piglet, also known as Megan Fox. Umbrella and Piglet. Tug, great job on Mr. Coop today. That's what we're watching. You obviously reviewed the record reporting. As Piglet has previously said, you must review everything. Right. And then from Piglet on Friday, January 24th, 2025 at 4:27 p.m., read Bruce Madskin to Richard Luthmann. Mr. Luthmann, an investigative journalist should familiarize themselves with every motion on the public record before commenting on a case, especially one this complex. It's clear that you haven't done that. One reporter contacting another reporter to do his work for him is bizarre. All the best, Piglet. Oink, 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 oink.
Does it sound like Tug reviewed anything in the court record before commenting on this case?
It sounds like he broke the Cardinal Piglet rule. The Cardinal Piglet rule is that you have to read oink, 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 everything. Oink, 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 oink.
Let's keep playing Tug.
No, let's do Tug.
His word on anything.
Right.
So that person could be the worst person ever, or they could be the greatest. But what he did, just like normal, is if there really was a kid in danger or anything else, he just blew that freaking parents their whole case out of the water and
holy
arrest again. They should know better.
Does it sound like I blew the case out of the water? If there was a custody trial and a custody order long before I wrote anything, does it sound like I blew the case out of the water?
What you blew out of the water was the pedophile protection ring that Tug was protecting. That's what you blew out of the water.
All right.
Than to leak information, but
he should have never he should have never put it out there. I mean,
yeah.
All right,
you talk about poetic justice.
All right. Should I have leaked a confidential report? Should I have looked into it and made sure to know that a garden ad litem report is confidential? Should I have is it partially my fault that she went to jail for 3 days?
It's not confidential to Michael Volpe because he's not a party to the litigation, number one. Number two, Michael Volpe is a reporter. His job is to shine a light on government misconduct. And this is a failure of government. When you have a little girl that's living with a pedophile, okay, a credibly accused pedophile by the court's own records, the goal is not to cover it up. The goal is sunlight. You did your job. You did your job. That's it.
Let's keep playing.
He gets arrested. I'm sure if they arrested the one lady, I'm sure they know about his post, right?
Yeah, well, you got to wonder how much he's spending on the, I'm going to be arrested. I mean, who knows? That could either be.
Was it? Does it sound like he read the article? Does he know why I believe that I'm going to be arrested? Does it sound like he knows that I did a FOIA request, that I got back a FOIA request saying eavesdropping? Does it sound like he's done any legwork whatsoever to prepare for this segment?
Not at all. He's got none preparation. The only preparation he has is maybe preparation H. That's about it.
He insults his audience when he does this. If you're watching him, he doesn't care enough to prepare to give you information in a way that's balanced, that's organized. He doesn't care enough about you to do any prep work. Rich, did those articles that you've been showing, did they suddenly appear, or did I make sure that you had them ahead of time?
Those are articles that are part of the public record that anybody can see.
No, but did I email them to you to make sure you had them? The ones you've been posting up? Or did you?
Yeah, those.
Right.
Yeah.
That's called prep work, preparation, something that Tug doesn't feel like he has to do, not for an appearance, not for any of his shows. All right, go ahead.
I'm curious.
Looking for some attention.
Yeah, maybe. That's why I'm wearing my right Michael. It's the different Michael. There's too many Michaels today. So I just thought, hey, we'll wear the right Michael Volpe shirt.
There you go. There you go. But that's interesting. So the you got two parties involved in this case, right? That you're talking about, and
yeah, it looks like a custody case again. I've not looked through this whole.
I've not looked through it. Looks. He said it looks like a custody case. He didn't even bother to do enough investigation to figure out if it's a custody case. He's attacking me left and right. He doesn't even know if it's a custody case. I have not looked through it. Does that sound like he's following the so-called order from Megan Fox? His Tuesdays with Megan? Megan doesn't care that he doesn't follow the instructions that she claims to be like gospel. She doesn't hold him to the same standards she holds you.
Yeah, it's true. But that's how it is. That when you have a cult, right? Mm-hmm. The rules for the people inside the cult are different from the rules for the people outside the cult. That's just what it comes down to. So that's what we got.
Okay.
Let's hit play.
Mess. But what in any kind of custody cases, they are very strict about what you can or cannot share. It's like when I mean, you've been through
right.
You've been through your own stuff. You're how courts can be.
Oh yeah.
So when I was going through court, they would tell you certain documents. I didn't share any documents. I was like, fuck this. But involving kids and stuff, it's very
right. Now pause it,
especially in contentious stuff. You got
right. First of all, yeah, your custody case probably wasn't corrupted, but the reason that this stuff is being shared is because the suspected child molesters got sole custody. That's when you share these documents. That's number one. Number two, hold on before you saw it. Number two, 5 years ago, Megan and I, this is something we railed against, non-transparency. They think it's fine that custody cases have all sorts of things that are sealed. I was in another custody case in Chicago, Illinois, and they kicked me out, and they did it because they saw me in the gallery. Suddenly an open hearing turned into a closed hearing because a litigant, a lawyer, and the judge, Regina Scanaccio, noticed I was in the gallery. And that kind of non-transparency, Megan used to rail against it. Now she's doing videos with a guy who thinks it's fine if you withhold information from the public. The public has a right to know that Judge Carla Wheeler is giving custody to suspected child molesters. Go ahead. You wanted to say something.
He's the guy that says, he's disclosing stuff about kids and children and this and that. Isn't Tug and Megan and Jeremy Hales doing the same thing with Michelle Preston and John Cook?
It's fine to go into Michelle Preston's backyard and videotape her and her daughter and make fun of them. That's fine. But if I release a gal report that shows that a guy who got sole custody admitted to watching porn while caring for his kids, I'm the bad guy, right, Tug? That's how you see it?
This is what you call a double standard. And we've proved the double standard at least 2-3 times already by his own words and the reality of the situation. You want me to hit play?
Yeah.
It's like going through a minefield.
So the lady that got arrested, she leaked the information to him. Well, is she still the same lady that he did the interview with, or was it the other party?
The Guardian ad litem report is what it is.
All right, pause it. They don't know who I did the interview with. Get the article back up. Another suspected child molester gets custody.
In Mr. Coop's defense, he can't blame him because he's an imbecile. The man is a low IQ person, but he's an actual low IQ person. He's like somebody that's probably in the 65 to 70 IQ range. I've gone to the toilet bowl and the IQ's been a lot higher than Mr. Coop on most days.
Get the article up. Get the article up.
Which article do you want, Mike?
Another suspected child molester gets custody.
Okay. Let's pull this down. And then we'll do this, share screen. And another suspected child molester gets. Here it is.
All right, now go to. Hold on, no, go up. There should be. Oh yeah, all right. Does that look like a woman I'm interviewing?
Only in the Biden administration.
Right. That's Tim Burgess, Bridget's father. We deliberately kept Bridget out of it, and obviously they still put her in jail. Bridget did not participate in the article. All right. I interviewed Tim. I worked through him. I got documents many ways, but Bridget wasn't involved. So did he? They don't know. He didn't bother to look at that article to know who I was interviewing. He has no idea what I did at all. Let's keep playing Tug.
Back to Tug.
Oh, you don't mess with that.
Yeah, so he ended up posting a portion of the Guardian ad litem report. And in the Guardian ad litem report, whatever it says in it, like, again, who knows the truth of?
Does it sound like he knows which portion of the Guardian ad litem report I posted?
I don't think he knows what day it is.
All right, well, let's get another suspected child molester gets custody back up. Let's read the portion of the Guardian ad litem report that I leaked, if you will. Scroll down a little bit. It'll come up. Keep going. Right there. Right there. No. All right, there you go. He reported the couple decided he would be a stay-at-home dad until the youngest entered kindergarten. He admitted to watching pornography, which is when his daughter was at home with him. He indicated that he would put her in the front of the television, then go into another room to watch it. He indicated this was not something he did all the time, but rather occasionally. He reported the pornography he watched was on adult websites, not children's pornography. That's the particular part of the Gal report that I leaked. That Gal report, I don't remember how many pages it is, but it's like 50, 60 pages or so. So one paragraph,
3 and 4, Michael.
It's appropriate that one paragraph is leaked that Bridget spent 3 days in jail.
Page 3 and 4. It's the very beginning of the report, but page 3 and 4. Right. This is probably the most crucial part, because this sick bastard, the fact that they had to, the person had to actually ask, "Are you watching child pornography?" You know, it's like, "Oh, but I only do it occasionally." "Oh yeah, I only pick up my kids drunk at school occasionally." You know, it's like out of control. This guy's out of control.
He's not the court.
And Tug's defending him. He's a sicko. This is a sicko, and Tug is defending sicko.
Tug doesn't care that a guy who admits to watching porn, who the pediatrician said his daughter exhibited behavior consistent with someone who's being molested. The same girl does this ghost story. He doesn't care that this guy got sole custody. All he's looking is for a way to give it to me somehow, without doing the slightest bit of research or an effort to figure out what the story is. Let's keep playing it. Get back to Tug.
Happen. Because with these people, I know how they frame things, and I know how the reality. You've seen them. Like, again, there are terrible things that go in courts. Like the court systems are inherently broken. So
he's suggesting that I manipulate the evidence. A guy who shows one small snippet of an article, who doesn't play the audio that's at the center of the criminal investigation, doesn't present any of the evidence that I found that the guy's a child molester. He's saying that I'm the one manipulating information.
That's out of control. Hit it?
Yeah, keep playing.
I do agree with that. But these people, they don't make them any better.
Right.
But yeah, he blew up somebody else's case, it sounds.
Don't make it any better. Earlier this month, we interviewed a woman named Tammy Nichols. Tell the court or the audience who Tammy Nichols is.
Tammy Nichols is a state senator from the great state of Idaho. She's a very, very nice lady, and she works her butt off every day so that families in Idaho have a fighting chance.
All right, and what did she was the chair of a special task force. What was that special?
They had an ad hoc committee in Idaho, a task force about family courts.
Right, and that task force was organized in July of 2025 and May of 2025. I spent 1 week in Meridian, Idaho, which is a suburb of Boise, where I met with, among others, State Senator Tammy Nichols, State Representative Heather Scott, to pitch them on the idea that they would put together. Is State Senator Tammy Nichols the only state legislator who we've interviewed?
No, we've interviewed a lot of state legislatures.
Did we interview State Senator Mark Fincham?
We did. He's from Arizona. He's a good guy down in Arizona. He's working for the people too.
Do you remember? And what did he chair?
He chaired the ad hoc committee on family court orders in Arizona.
In Arizona. And how did we score that interview?
We scored that interview because Michael Volpe is slick and he's a schmoozer. That's how.
No, because Mark Fincham was also invited to Idaho to pitch the same state legislators.
And you talked to him and you schmoozed him, right, and you told him to come on the show. I
spoke with him and I asked him, and then we arranged the interview. Does it sound like we hurt or help the situation? And by the way, I've been doing it for, right. And by the way, I've been doing it for over 10 years, and up to 10 people a week contact me. If I'm hurting, how come people constantly contact me to do their stories? If I'm hurting.
Yeah. Mike, you're doing God's work. That's what it comes down to. Let's hit that.
It's like somebody that came to him for help, just like before. And now he's like, oh, I may go to jail too. I also like my favorite part of all of that is him being like, oh, I want $10,000, and he's gotten, well, he doesn't have the sound of any coin dropping.
Pause it. Get my the fundraiser up. Can you get the fundraiser up?
This one? Oh no. Okay.
No, that's them posting the fundraiser online. Get the fundraiser up, and if you can put it into the chat. If you guys want to stick it to Tug, put some money into the fundraiser, and I'll do one per 400. Any money that comes in, I'll do one, and start the ball rolling. And I'll expose Central Illinois corrupt cops, corrupt judges. The fundraiser?
It's connected to this article, right?
I don't know which article that is, but
this is Carla Wheeler, just so everybody knows. This is the crazy judge.
You get the fundraiser up. It's Go Get Funding.
Okay, I'm trying to find it, Michael. You know, it's tough being Mr. Producer over here.
Yeah, I know it is.
Let's see here. Fundraiser. Where's your fundraiser? Oh, here we go. Share this.
So if you can put that
I'm going to put this in the chat.
If you guys want to contribute, if this thing takes off, it will be the ultimate middle finger to Tug. If I did 4 or 5 articles in Central Illinois, it would be the ultimate middle finger to Tug.
It's going to go in the chat right now. I'm going to put this in.
All right.
This is called Go Get Funding, Expose the Central Illinois Pedophile Protection Program. And so here we go. The campaign. I'm going to read some of this. No, we should read it. Campaign stores. Expose the Illinois Pedophile Protection Program. And then we have this here. And then on May 1st, 2026, I, being Michael Volpe, published an article on my site entitled Another Suspected Child Molester Gets Custody in Illinois. Okay? In it, I described how a McLean County, Illinois man got sole custody of his children despite admitting to watching porn while caring for his kids, along with his daughter disclosing to multiple mandated reporters that he was molesting her. A guardian ad litem ran interference for the father, telling authorities not to believe the accusations while hurling accusations at the mother. As part of the article, I interviewed this father who dodged my questions. The blowback was quick. The court held a contempt hearing days later and held the mother was in contempt because one paragraph of the GL report was released. That report was supposed to be confidential, and it's only confidential to the parties in the case. That's what it comes down to. On May 8th, 2026, Joseph Pienta of the Peru, Illinois PD called me 4 times. While he was not say the reason for the call, I think he just wanted to say hello, Michael. A Freedom of Information Act request revealed that he was investigating eavesdropping. Illinois has a 2-party consent law that the father complained that I didn't get his consent. Only I didn't need it. All conversations with a journalist are presumed on the record unless stated otherwise. The Illinois law is not a blanket 2-party consent. It requires for both parties to reasonably expect the conversation to be private. An on-the-record conversation with a journalist cannot reasonably be expected to be private. Central Illinois is trying to criminalize news gathering. Furthermore, they're trying to cover up for child molestation, and I bet there are many other cases. I may be indicted any day, as the case referred to the state attorney's office per the FOIA. Help me fight this monstrosity. For every $400 raised, I will do one article.
All right.
There's Michael.
Is that why you're not and Tug contributed $1 3 times because he thought he was so funny. It's hilarious. I will eat McDonald's and about 30% is on him. Good for you, Tug. All right. And you wanted to talk about the Illinois 2.
I want to show something real quick, actually, related to this, because I'll show what I had sent over to the cops, because this is a real issue with respect to the cops. And let me put this up right here on the screen. I have it right here. That's hold on a second. Bear with me, Michael. I'm sorry. This is technical. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Peru. Here we go. The Peru Police Department. And this is what I had sent. And what I'll do is I will make this nice and big so that everybody can see it. Actually. All right. Let's do share. Share. Here we go. Okay. So this is the Peru Police Department. Okay. And I'd sent an email to them trying to find out why they're going to send Michael away. And I sent this to a lot of people. If you see this list, I sent to everybody in the Peru Police Department, everybody in several counties. And Peru isn't even in the same county as McLean County, the state attorney's office, actually in a different county. We found that out after I sent this. But it raises a very important issue for us, Michael, that it looks like the guy that you spoke to, okay, wasn't even in McLean County and wasn't even in the other county. He has his father has a connection to the police department, it looks like, and they went into a friendly police department to try to harass you, which creates a situation that they're not doing legal law enforcement, good faith law enforcement. They're doing harassment by proxy, and that's a big problem if they're doing it. So here's what I saw.
I don't know where the guy lives. He may live in Peru. If one of the two parties lives in McLean, that can be enough for McLean to have jurisdiction. But you want to read the email that you wrote?
Yeah. Dear Chief Raymond, Police Department of Peru, McLean County State Attorney, Illinois Attorney General's Office. So I sent it to the Illinois Attorney General. They're in charge of everybody, so they're involved. This is a journalistic inquiry for publication, and we're publishing it now by speaking about it. We are investigating the attached records indicating the City of Peru Police Department referred investigative journalist Michael Volpe to the McLean County State Attorney's Office for potential prosecution under Illinois' eavesdropping statute after Volpe contacted David Suarez for reporting on the Suarez family court case. A Peru police FOIL denial identifies Michael Volpe request titled the case 26-0345, labeled eavesdropping, with a handwritten note referred to SAO. That means State Attorney's Office. That should alarm every reporter in Illinois. Volpe did what reporters do. He identified himself as an investigative journalist, asked questions, gave the subject an opportunity to respond, checked the answers against court transcripts and court-connected materials, and published. That's not eavesdropping. That is journalism. The Suarez case is not gossip. It involves allegations of child sexual abuse, mandated reporters, DCFS, that's the Department of Child and Family Services, police agencies, guardian ad litem Nargis Kokar, Judge Carla Wheeler, a confidential GAL report, and sworn testimony about David Suarez allegedly watching pornography while caring for the children. It's not even alleged, he admitted. Dr. Samina Yusuf, the child's pediatrician, testified that the child came in for suspected constipation, but showed disturbing behavioral changes, cried words to the effect of "Daddy, no," and had redness and slight.
Wait, stop. Daddy, no. And you remember what Tim said. Daddy, stop. Daddy, stop. That's two different people who witnessed that child refer to Daddy as they are interacting with them. Go ahead.
Had redness and slight swelling in the vulva area. Dr. Youssef testified that the child's acute behavioral change statements and distress caused her to file a DCFS report as a mandated reporter. The pornography issue was also in the record. The transcript reflects question about whether counselors were concerned about the children's possible exposure to pornographic material, and the court asked whether there was evidence that the children were exposed to David Suarez watching pornography. Volpe's contempt-related exhibit showed that he had emailed counsel as an investigative journalist and asked whether Suarez acknowledged watching porn while the children were home, why the children allegedly disclosed to multiple mandated reporters that the allegations were false, and whether Suarez's side claimed parental alienation. Those are public interest questions, not criminal acts. And we have some of Michael's publications. I did some publications as well. And Illinois' eavesdropping statute targets recording a private conversation in a surreptitious manner. You know what that means, Michael? Surreptitious?
That means where you're doing it on the down low. And
you're trying to be slick.
Right. As I said, you do not have a reasonable expectation of privacy if you're speaking with a journalist. Did he not think that our conversation would wind up in an article when I said I'm nearly done with an article about your custody case? What did he think was going to happen? Of course, he didn't expect privacy during that conversation. Go ahead.
Surreptitious under the law of Illinois means stealth, secrecy, deception, or concealment. If Volpe identified himself as press, where is the stealth? Where is the secrecy? And where is the reasonable expectation that a call with an investigative journalist about a pending story was private? And this is very important because Illinois had another law, and that law is no longer the law. Illinois' old eavesdropping law was struck down for overbreadth because it criminalized protected recording activity, including protected reporting by journalists. The Seventh Circuit, the federal court, likewise ruled that Illinois cannot use eavesdropping law to crush constitutionally protected information gathering. It's the American Civil Liberties Union. The First Amendment protects publication on matters of public concern. This is clearly a public concern. We have a mandated reporter that filed a report to that effect. Okay, this is a court document that's confidential. They're trying to keep secret. Illinois also protects reporters from compelled source disclosure. We ask them questions. Did the Peru police refer Volpe for prosecution? Who requested the investigation? Did David Suarez, Michael Nichols, Nargis Kokar, any GL employee, attorney, or court-connected person encourage it? Did the Peru police review the full call? Does it show Volpe identified himself as a journalist? What is the theory that the call was private, or surreptitious, or stealth, or slick? None. Did Suarez ask to go off the record? Did Volpe agree to confidentiality? No and no. Did Peru police consider the First Amendment, Illinois reporter privilege, Clark, Malengo, Alvarez, Bartiki, Cox Broadcasting, or Daily Mail, which are cases? Did they consider any of those cases before making the referral? Has the state attorneys accepted, assigned, declined, or requested more investigation? And is anyone seeking Volpe's sources, notes, recordings, emails, or communications? There are only a few explanations. Maybe the Peru police misunderstood the law. Maybe the state attorney's office has not yet killed a bad referral. Could be a bad referral. They killed it. Maybe family court embarrassment is driving a prosecution theory that should have died the moment Volpe identified himself as the press. Or maybe Peru police and the county prosecutors believe Illinois eavesdropping law can be used as a club against journalists. Which is it? Are you confused, reckless, or helping private litigants turn journalism into a crime? So that's basically the story in a nutshell. And I attached for them the report. So they had the full report.
You can see. Hold on. Go up. That's the battery right there. Referred to SAO. That state's attorney's office. That in Illinois is the equivalent of a district attorney. It's the prosecutor for the county. The state's attorney is elected. All right. And I think I can get some stuff up. So. One other thing. Oh, hold on. I reached out to TUG.
Send it. I'll put it up.
All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. All right. So here we go. All right. You're seeing that?
Yeah, let's send it.
All right. So I said, you said I lost the woman the ability to have custody in this article. That's not what happened. She was on supervised visits for almost 2 years, and there was a trial in February. It was actually January. The trial court entered an order limiting her to supervised visits. I started covering the case long after the order. You know nothing. And his response, ooh, but did you get her arrested? She wasn't arrested. 3 days in fucking jail and screwing up yet another case. Did you tell her how this isn't your first rodeo getting others? Or did you? I didn't talk to her. So I don't know what he's talking. I hope to God this isn't the case of another vulnerable woman trusting you. Now, notice I'm asking him about things he got wrong, and he immediately attacks me. And I said, I didn't speak to her, nor did I get the gal report from her. That's something you'd know if you were reading all the articles carefully. More than that, you're more concerned with a leaked gal report, which showed that David Suarez admitted to watching porn while caring for the kids, than whether child molestation is covered up at all levels. That's who you are. You don't care about Bridget, her kids. You commented on a complicated story without reaching out to anyone. You're so concerned with getting me that you can't bother to ask if jailing someone for 3 days, including Mother's Day, for leaking a paragraph is important. Ironically, you also then demeaned me. You have no idea what happened.
Wow. That's crazy. So, Michael. Where's Michael? We might have dead air. Michael might be gone. Oh, no. Michael, are you there? Oh, no. What are we going to do without Michael? All right. Michael, when you come back, we'll let you talk about this. I want to show everybody some important media. You may have seen it on the way in, but this is very important media. So everybody hang tight and watch this.
What is that? What is that?
Sounds like fire.
Now, Jose, the shooting happened on 17th and Pennsylvania Avenue. It is right before the pedestrian plaza begins, which reopened.
So I don't know what happened to Michael. I think we might have lost Michael. I know Lisa said there were thunderstorms. Maybe Michael got struck by lightning. But let's see what happens here. Did everybody like that video? What do you think about that video? Did you like that video? Did people like the video? Tell me in the chat. I think it was a decent video. I think it's a classic video now because of the meme. It's that was actually from the White House the other day, and there was a reporter that didn't know what the heck was going on. Gunshots at the White House, and all the other reporters they hit the floor and they do everything else and everything. And that reporter turns around and she's like, "Uh-oh, what's going on?" And she's looking around, her head's up in the air, and it is what it is. So, what I want to do next is I want to talk about Germ, and everyone knows who Germ is. And I'll put it back up because everyone needs to know and see that. Germ fears Luthmann. So I think any day now, like today or tomorrow, my motion to dismiss under Rule 12 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure with Jeremy Hales to dismiss his case against me for the Florida revenge porn statute. Okay. What happened was, oh, here he's back. Michael's back. I'm filling dead air, Mike, but I'm doing okay. I was doing a good job. I had to show them the piglet video again, and I think the audience really liked the piglet video, Mike. So these are the horrors of live broadcasting. This is what this is, Mike.
Yeah, I lost my internet connection, but here we go. All right, so let me get back to after I accused him. Do you have that up?
It's up. Go, Mike. Go, Mike. Go.
Ooh, but did you get her arrested, right, Michael? 3 days in fucking jail, including screwing up yet another case. So, again, did I get her arrested? Did I get her arrested? Is it my fault?
Psycho judge got her
shouldn't
arrested.
I have been more? Right. Is he more concerned with trying to find any screw up by me as opposed to the system? Does he in effect thinks it's okay to jail a mother for 3 days? So then I said, I didn't speak to her, nor did I get the Gale report from her. That's something you'd know if you were reading all the articles carefully. More than that, you're more concerned with a leaked Gale report, which showed that David Suarez admitted to watching porn while caring for his kids, than whether child molestation is covered up at all levels. That's who you are. You don't care about Bridget or kids. You commented on a complicated story without reaching out to anyone. You're so concerned with getting me that you can't bother to ask if jailing someone for 3 days, including Mother's Day, for leaking a paragraph is appropriate. Ironically, you also then demean me. And then he goes, bah, ha, ha, you ran the paint chip so predictable. It's funny because that's your MO. You ruin ship, and when you get blasted, it's back to trying to harass. And so he's insulting me again, but he never defends himself. He doesn't defend the fact that he got almost every detail wrong. And he just keeps blaming me for the 3 days that Bridget spent in jail. And I'm curious, does Bridget blame me? Does he talk to Bridget? Do you think he's talked to anyone in that case?
No, and I don't think he's read anything. He hasn't talked to anybody. He's a joke. It's a smear job. He came up to smear
He
you.
blames me. Right. He smears me. And he says that I write hit pieces. All right, that's enough of tug on Mr. Coop. And one other thing, I also reached out to Mr. Coop, and the reason it's important that I reached out to them is before I talk about someone, I always reach out to them. Tug doesn't bother to do that. Part of their MO, number one, you only show parts of articles to mislead your audience. Number two, you do not prepare for anything. And number three, you don't bother to reach out to the people because they may tell you something that will work against your narrative. So go ahead. Now you want to update on one other part.
So this has got filed a couple days ago in the Gainesville court in the Fed 2 case. And this is, if everybody remembers, David Helm, right? He was dismissed in the case along with Lisa Lee and with Robbie and Ray Bone Crusher and Super Dave and all the rest of the defendants. And the only ones that are left are myself and Michelle. And Michelle Preston is in bankruptcy, so that case is not happening. It's not moving at this point. The only case that's moving is against me. But you can file for attorney's fees if you're David Helm because Judge Hinkle allowed him to. And so what they did was they filed a couple of days ago an extension for an order to get more time for attorney fees. And it's actually, this is a pretty, it's by and large a boring motion. It's just to get more time. And the reason why there's more time, though, it shows something pretty extraordinary, actually. And so when you dig through this and actually read the documents, it's something pretty cool. And I'll show everybody that. But the guy who's at issue here is this guy named Gary Ettinger Esquire. Okay, and this Gary Ettinger Esquire, just remember that he is a lawyer. Ettinger came in and they needed a motion. They were making attorney's fees, right? So they had to get a lawyer to come in as an expert. When you do an attorney's fees motion in federal court, you can't just make your number up out of the air. You got to get somebody to come in who's an expert, a neutral party, not conflicted, someone that can come in and tell you, what's going on, what the attorney's fees should be, and all the issues related to the case. In this case, it's an anti-SLAPP motion. And so what I'll do is I'll show everybody a little bit about our friend, Mr. Ettinger. I actually have his thing right here. Let me put this up for everybody. And we're going to share. Okay, we'll take that off. And I'm going to share who Ettinger is. Gary S. Ettinger. Okay, share. So this is Gary Ettinger. And look what this guy is. First Amendment lawyers, right? You have rights, we'll protect them. This is Gary. That's what Gary looks like. Gary is in Gainesville, right? He's a Central Florida, Northern District of Florida lawyer, okay? And he's the guy. And look at what he does, right? Adult entertainment, appeals, business, corporate, civil litigation, commercial solicitation, billboards, First Amendment, intellectual property, political speech, demonstration, share litigation. That's all First Amendment stuff. What do you mean by adult entertainment? That's usually zoning or stuff related to strip clubs and things like that, or publication of adult stuff to make sure that you do compliance. Appeals, obviously. And the guy's been in front of Hinkle, the judge, business, corporate, First Amendment, but this guy's a real First Amendment lawyer. And so that was very interesting to me that he's a First Amendment lawyer, Gary Edinger. This guy, that's Gary.
Why is that interesting to you?
Because when you read this, we'll show everybody. Watch. Here's what we're going to read. So he's the lawyer, and so he comes in, and he was able to come in, and there's an Exhibit A and Exhibit B we're going to read. He said that I'm cool to go on April 14th to be the expert witness to tell you that there's no issue, to tell you how much money Jeremy Hales is going to have to pay up. Okay. Then on May 22nd, which is a month later, about a month and a week later, Edinger informed that the final stage of preparation on his declaration to say how much money Jeremy has to pay, Edinger discovered a previously unknown conflict that prevents him from serving in that capacity. Now, wait a second. It's pretty much plain, milk toast vanilla here until you go and read what these people are saying and the names that they mention and everything else. So let's go to these exhibits. Exhibit A. Gary Edinger to Christopher Gage, who's the attorney. Okay. Hi, Chris. Congratulations on your SLAPP victory. Judges are still not familiar with that process, and victories are less common than they should be. That means Christopher Gage did a very good job, and Jerem is actually paying, and they're making him pay, which is a good thing. Coincidentally, I'm arguing a SLAPP motion for an online newspaper tomorrow in state court in Lake County. Also coordinating an amicus brief for a First Amendment organization in support of a colleague who prevailed on a SLAPP motion in federal court, somewhere in the Lone Star State, but was denied a fee. I would be happy to assist here. I do not have a conflict with any of the parties. I do quite a bit of defamation work on both sides of the verses, although largely for the defense. I also do enough work in the Northern District of Florida, my native district, to have a feel for an appropriate fee. That fee's going to be a lot of money that Jeremy's going to have to pay. In fact, I've had a bench trial before Hinkle in a civil rights matter and a plaintiff's counsel in a First Amendment case pending before Judge Walker. Those are both the judges for the Jeremy Hales case. Last week, we secured a sanctions order in that case for the filing of a fraudulent declaration. Fraudulent declaration? That sounds like Randy Shotton. Great fun. I would charge $400 an hour for my services. I just took a look. Your docket was surprised to see its size. Think about that, Michael. This lawyer who does litigation all the time is surprised to see the size of the docket. Does that remind you of a term called polymath? Contraction of litigation and multiplication proceedings. He's surprised that this is so long and it never could get this big unless you multiply the proceedings. SLAPP motions are supposed to resolve meritless cases early on. You've already gone 9 or 10 rounds. But isn't there a guy named Michael Volpe?
And that's something that I pointed out as well, that the judge should have looked at that SLAPP motion long before he did, the magistrate, Zach Belizzo. So the lawyer agrees with me that it should not have been allowed to go as long as it did. Correct.
The size of the docket means that I have to spend a lot of time grokking the record. If you know what grokking is, it means you're either an old guy, a science fiction nerd, or conversant with AI companies. My template, office, affidavit. My fee shouldn't exceed $2,500. Live testimony is not likely on a fees issue. I'll bill hourly for that. So that's a pretty straight thing from Gary. Gary sends that, okay? Then in May, a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Gary sends this email. Chris, so sorry, but I discovered I do, in fact, have a conflict in this case. I did my standard check when we first consulted and found nothing. But when I read through the complaint, it made a reference to rapist allegations, and I randomly looked at some of the YouTube sites listed, which further expanded on the point. That struck a chord because they were so weird, and I remembered someone making a similar inquiry long ago. Sure enough, I found a single email exchange with Hales in a miscellaneous file from 3 years ago. This is the news. Jeremy Hales talked to this First Amendment lawyer about rape on YouTube and everything else. Listen what this lawyer did. After he talked to Jeremy Hales, I rejected his case, of course, but there was enough of substantive exchange to constitute a conflict. So Jeremy tried to hire this First Amendment lawyer, and the First Amendment lawyer rejected him 3 years ago. He said, no, I'm not going to represent you with your crazy rapist allegations and everything else. But here comes the fun part. This is what I want you to talk about, Michael. I know several First Amendment colleagues who do defamation work in Florida who can stand in for me. Mark Randazza would be my first choice, as he does tons of SLAPP work, including a leading case, Edward Lewis Tobinick versus Novella. As I recall, I did an attorney's fee affidavit in that case with Mark. As it happens, Mark is doing an attorney fee affidavit for me in a SLAPP lawsuit I won. The perfect guy for you. Let him know that I referred you. He's a busy fellow and might not otherwise take on the assignment. Michael, who is Mark Randazza?
Mark Randazza is a fairly well-known First Amendment attorney. I first was exposed to him when I was covering a case of a guy named Christopher Mackney who killed himself but wrote a suicide note before he killed himself. And his ex-wife tried to remove the suicide note offline. It went everywhere. And there was a men's rights group called the Voice for Men who refused to remove it, and they hired Randazza to write I don't know what they hired him for, but he definitely wrote a letter, which is still online, basically telling her that you have no legal legs to stand on. I almost hired him for something, but that didn't work out, not because I didn't think he was good, but he's fairly well known. If he gets involved, he could create some media storm because he's like relatively high profile. He's no slouch, and he's well known in the First Amendment community. So it's not surprising. I thought Randazza I practiced up north. So the surprising part for me is that he is able to practice in Florida, but he would be good.
I'm going to show everybody Randazza. I'm going to show everybody Randazza. And this is Randazza. And I had a run-in with Randazza a couple of weeks ago, right? Randazza, this is him, okay? And he is, he talks about all the things. He spent the majority of the time in Las Vegas, right? And Randazza is actually, he had a story about pornography. I don't know if you know about the story, Michael, do you? He is a lawyer in Las Vegas. He represented a pornography company. They produce pornography, right? And he let them use his law office, right? And they filmed people getting stupped on his desk. And they're going at it on his desk and everything else. And he ended up getting into a fight with his client, the pornography company, and it got lots and lots messy. And so this is Randazza. Now, Randazza also represents one of the great scumbags of all times. And that's how I got to know about him a few weeks ago. Has anybody heard about my friend Dinesh? Do you know who Dinesh is?
He represents Dinesh.
No, but he was related to.
He represents him.
He was related to the Dinesh litigation, and so I had got into an email battle with this man, and so I will put this up on the screen. This is from Joey Camp. Okay, everyone knows who Joey is, and he had sent an email to James McGibney. Okay, about pornography. Consultant and attorney for Hunter Moore. Hunter Moore is a guy who James McGibney bought the revenge porn site from several years ago. Now he lives in Colombia. Joey Camp lives in Colombia. And so there's understanding he's filing criminal charges and civil gates against you. The precedents got set when I got the civil judgment. He will transfer and collect the default judgment from Nevada to Colombia against you pending civil action. So they sends this. And then Mark Randazza replies, "Who the fuck are you people, and why the fuck are you emailing me?" And so I replied, "Hello, I'm a journalist. I don't know who the fuck you are either. Are you one of the apparently homosexual co-conspirators?" Favor of a reply requested. And there's a site actually of these people. It's a terrible site. I'll show it to you. It's called bullyville.gay. It's the gayest receipts on the internet. And this is where James McGibney and all of his friends hang out. And Dinesh, and all the other fun stuff. Here he is. There's Dinesh. I'm going to go back to this. Let's go back to Randazzo. Okay, let's go back. So Randazzo comes back, and so are you willing to write an article that you want to quote for? What the fuck are you communicating with me for? Mark Jan Randazzo. And I replied to him, Is this you, Randazza? Now that you're identified as a lawyer for Mr. Jaser, I do have questions. I am contacting you for legitimate journalistic purposes, including seeking comment and clarification. Your response, what the fuck are you communicating with me for, is unprofessional and consistent with the basic standards governing attorney conduct. Lawyers are not prohibited from being direct, but they are bound by rules that prohibit using communication methods that have no substantial purpose other than to embarrass, burden, demean another person. Professionalism standards applicable across the jurisdiction in which you are admitted require you to act with civility and courtesy, blah, 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 blah. To be clear, I joined journalist camps, newsworthy issues, and legal developments. Then I ask him, do you deny that you perform fellatio on farm animals in foreign countries? I'm asking in good faith. If you have to continue the practice, when did you stop? That is what happened on his desk. There were like crazy sex going on his desk in Las Vegas. We think that farm animals might have been involved. We think that there was fellatio happening. We think this guy was involved. I'm telling you, David Helm, don't hire this guy, David. David, don't hire this guy. He's crazy. He allegedly performs fellatio with farm animals on his desk on video. It's crazy stuff. Go for the other guy. Don't hire this guy. It's bad, bad, bad. Okay.
All right. And I think that'll wrap it up.
All right, everybody. I had a good time today. I have to go. I have to do things. We only like to do this for about an hour, hour and 15. That's where we are at. But I'm going to leave everybody with something that they could enjoy. And something that they could really enjoy is, we played it already a couple times, and that is our ode to the piglet. So thank you, everyone. Be good and be well, and take care. God bless. God bless America.
Jose, the shooting happened on 17th and Pennsylvania Avenue. It is right before the pedestrian plaza begins, which reopened. The shooting happened on 17th and Pennsylvania Avenue. It is right before the pedestrian plaza begins, which reopened.